Hey guys, I'm Jasmine. You might have seen me over on Bring Me or on Tasty, and you might be seeing a little more of me this year here on Goodful. Today I'm gonna be showing you 3 vegan recipes for some of the most popular Korean dishes. Let's get started, shall we? This one is the kimchi stew, otherwise known as kimchi jjigae. We're gonna start with adding a little bit of oil to our pot. You can use the oil of your choice. Now, there's a lot of different ways to make kimchi jjigae, but actually kimchi jjigae is quite easy to make in general. We're gonna start by throwing in our onions. I added 1 onion sliced, and we're just gonna saute it for a little bit. Right now I'm just adding the kimchi. Save the juice because right now I'm just trying to saute it a little bit. I'm using about 5 cups of kimchi here, and be sure to check the label because not all kimchi is made vegan. Now I can pretty much add everything else: the garlic, Korean chili flakes, salt, sugar, and fermented red pepper paste. People like their kimchi stews very different. Some like it lighter, less spicy. It's all up to your own taste. So if you see me adding spice and you're not great with spice, feel free to adjust anything in this dish to your flavor palette. But take this from me, do not use alternative sweeteners. It changes the flavor completely. We are going to add in our mushrooms. I don't add in the mushrooms too early because I think it impacts the flavor greatly. Now I'm going to add in my kimchi juice. I really recommend using more fermented kimchi. If you use fresh kimchi, you're not gonna get that same vinegary taste that you're looking for. Now I'm gonna add in a few cups of water. Yum, this looks so good. So traditionally, I would make this with fish sauce, dried anchovies, and kelp. However, totally fine to leave it out, but you do need that umami flavoring. So I'm still going to be using kelp. Hello? Yeah, good size. And a lot of people make the kelp broth or the anchovy broth first. I, however, am just too lazy. So I just put it inside the pot and I let it do its job. It all works out in the end. I'm gonna let that just simmer for about 40 minutes. But while we do that, I'm gonna cut the tofu. Since everyone has their own preferred way of how the tofu is cut, just cut it to the way you like it. People also like to wait to the end to put in the tofu because they don't want the tofu to break apart in the stew. But I like to add it in sooner rather than later just because I like to have that tofu soak in all the juices from the stew. I am just putting some soup over the tofu. And then I'm gonna let this simmer for about 40 minutes to an hour, and then we can dig in. The kimchi jjigae is almost done, and all we need to do now is add our green onions. Also, for full transparency, I'm not vegan, but I do have a lot of friends and family members who do practice a vegan lifestyle. So I've learned to adapt a lot of my favorite traditional recipes to be vegan so they can enjoy some of my favorite cultural foods as well. This looks good. Let's go get that steaming, piping hot bowl of rice and dig in. Yes, 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 yes. I forgot the sesame oil. I gotta drizzle a little bit in there. This is like the perfect cozy meal. So when it's cold outside, raining, snowing, whatever, this will warm your whole soul. This dish is called Japchae. It's pretty much a stir-fried noodle. This dish is kind of like the main character. It's always the one that everyone loves. Let's start by bringing some water to a boil. Once that comes to a boil, we are going to blanch our spinach. Spinach? And now I don't know what the right way to say it is. Spinach? I don't like this game. I have 1 large handful of washed spinach right here. I'm using a very large handful because we all know that it will just cook down to a single leaf. Just gonna blanch it for about 45-ish seconds. This dish is very pretty. There's a lot of colors in it. You want the green to be nice and vibrant, not dull and wilted. So this will keep it so that there's like a nice crisp to the spinach as well as keeping that bright, vibrant green. All right, this looks about good. So we're gonna take the spinach out. We're gonna rinse it with cold water to stop it from cooking even more. And then we are going to strain the water out and then season it with a little bit of soy sauce, some sesame oil, some salt, and some toasted sesame seeds. Just gonna mix that up, and then we're just gonna set it to the side. I'm gonna let this water come back to a boil. We're gonna reuse the same water. We're using sweet potato noodles for this dish. This noodle is gluten-free, but this dish is not because soy sauce has gluten. You can substitute your soy sauce with liquid aminos, but I will say the flavor is not quite the same. I do recommend cooking this a little bit longer than you think, just because the noodles do bounce back after rinsing them with cold water. Once your noodles are done, you can strain them, rinse them with cold water, and transfer them into a large bowl. And when these noodles are left alone, they'll dry out, they'll stick to each other. So to keep that from happening, we're gonna add a little bit of soy sauce, some sesame oil, and some sugar. Give that a good old mix before we start getting to work on the vegetables. So to make the vegetables, traditionally you'll see a lot of people make each vegetable individually. I cannot be bothered, so I'm just gonna do everything in one pan except for the mushrooms because I marinated those. So we'll do about a cup of onions. I'm also gonna throw in my green onions and my shredded carrots. I'm gonna add some salt. I'm just gonna saute this until the onions are slightly translucent. I'm gonna add some garlic as well. If you haven't tried Korean food before and are a little bit hesitant to try it, I would say this is a great intro dish to the Korean cuisine. The vegetables look about done, so I'm gonna transfer it to an empty bowl. So now we're gonna cook the mushrooms that I've been letting marinate in the fridge. And to marinate the mushrooms, I just added in some soy sauce, some sesame oil, minced garlic, black pepper, and sugar. Let's throw in these marinated mushrooms. This is a dish that you can eat cold or hot. Most people prefer hot. I actually don't have a preference. I like it cold or hot. It's totally fine if your mushrooms look kind of wet like this. This sauce will be so good in the noodles. All right, almost done, you guys. So we're going to add in the spinach we made earlier, our other sauteed veggies. So last but not least, let's add in our mushrooms. I'm gonna add in some more minced garlic, some sugar. We're gonna add some soy sauce and then some sesame oil. So these noodles are very long. We usually cut them. Final touch, some toasted sesame seeds on top. I forgot to mention, this is a traditional dish that we eat on Lunar New Year. That's coming up on February 12th. If you are celebrating or want to celebrate, you can enjoy this traditional dish with us. Cheers. Now we're gonna make some spicy rice cakes. This is called Tapuki. It's like a popular street food in Korea. It's a popular pub food. If you're out clubbing, drinking with your friends, and you wanna end the night well, you're definitely gonna go to a local pub and get some Tapuki. Let's start by making our broth. We're gonna have our dried kelp again. This time not the size of an iPhone Plus, but more like 2 regular iPhones. Yeah, that's about right. Modern measuring, everyone. So we're gonna put our kelp in our pan, pour some water over it. We're just gonna let that boil for about 15 to 20 minutes. Our broth is about done. You can see that the color changed a lot. So I'm just gonna take out the kelp. And then from here, it's so simple. We're gonna put in our sauces. This is our gochujang, chili flakes, sugar, garlic, and soy sauce. We're just gonna mix that together until it's well combined. And then we're gonna add in our rice cakes that have been sitting in water for about 10 minutes or so. You wanna make sure that you soak them first if you're not putting in fresh rice cakes because they're so hard. And so if you put them into the water to cook, as soon as you take them out of the fridge, the outside will start to disintegrate, get really soggy, while the inside is left raw and very, very hard and chewy. So I got 1 pack of spiced, I have a pack of rice cakes here, about 1.5 pounds. I'm adding a little more water so that all the rice cakes are covered. So this takes about 10 minutes to cook. Once they're halfway cooked, I'm gonna add in all the vegetables and stuff. Actually, you know what? The carrots can go in now. I like them a little softer. I also chose way too small of a pan, and I'm gonna really hate myself for that very soon. Throw in the onions. And now the green onions. Okay, yeah, you know what? This isn't gonna fit in this pan. I gotta transfer this into the largest pan I have, I guess. Yes, 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 much better. Oh, it's so heavy. This is looking amazing. Now I'm gonna add in the cabbage. This dish has so many variations. People add fish cake, hard-boiled eggs, different kinds of noodles, different kinds of vegetables. So if you're looking at this and thinking, ooh, I think that would be really good with whatever, just add it. You might really like it. And now I'm trying to open up the center so I can cook my ramen noodles in it. Oh baby, that is what I'm talking about. I don't want the noodles to overcook and I want the sauce to be a little thicker. So I'm gonna just remove the ramen noodles first. Oh baby. Okay, it looks good to me. Let's go ahead and transfer some of these beautiful spicy rice cakes onto the noodles. And the noodles, oh my God. All right guys, those are all the dishes I had for today. It was so awesome being able to share my culture with you. If you end up making any of these dishes, please snap a picture, tag me on Instagram. I do want to see them. All right guys, bye.